What is up, everybody? Welcome to a weekly edition of Metalheads Night. Uh, you missed it last week. We had a special guest on, Marcus Redstead from After Earth, After Earth. If you want to catch that, you can go back and watch that on YouTube or on Spotify now. It is up on Spotify, so
Yes.
check that out. Hey, good evening, Dana.
Dana, what's up, buddy?
Hell, he beat me in here. Uh, that's bad when a guest beats you to your own show. So. Uh, uh,
That's kind of funny.
that's just stuff I want to talk about. I need to see when I'm going to release it because I forgot. So that can go in. We'll talk about that here in a minute. One of them I got for hitting the road. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, looking forward to that segment of the show. But
it's
yes,
all you. It's all you, man. I got a little bit of stuff, but it's mostly cancellation news. It ain't really nothing new. So I've been here more than twice. I'm no longer a guest. I know.
you
I
know
know where
where
the
the beer is. It's in the fridge. Help yourself. Yeah, Dana's not a long time listener, first time caller kind of guest. He's he's definitely that's definitely not Dana, but
he's more regular than Sheldon Cooper's bowel movements.
just about. But
You
yeah,
don't know that
well,
reference. You have to watch Bang Theories.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah, you do. You have to. Yeah, got to do a little bit of homework if you don't understand that reference. But yeah, I want to welcome everybody into the Metalheads Unite podcast. We are in the very, very first day of September, at least here in the United States. I know. Jason just mentioned Marcus Reedstead from After Earth, so he is actually already into September 2nd, which just so happens to be his birthday. So give a little bit of a lead into the birthday segment there. So happy birthday to Marcus Reedstead from our guest last week, After Earth. So yeah, go check out their new album, The Rarity of Reason, on Spotify. It is a very good listen, and follow them on Instagram like we do now. Yes. Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Friday. Good to see you all.
Yeah, something on my screen. Oh, there it goes. I was like, hell, something up here wouldn't close out. It was in my way. I couldn't see nothing.
Uh oh.
All right, I'm good. Technology, man.
It's a double
Great.
edged sword for
It's great.
sure.
It's great when it works properly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But 90% of the time, it hates us. So.
Yeah. And since Dana's in here with us, I do believe I saw that Halo Scars is actually playing their last hometown show of the year this weekend. Is that right? I know they got a show coming up. I know Jason and Colby were posting it, so I know that their last show in Rogersville is coming up here relatively soon. I do believe it's this weekend.
And while we're on that subject, I think Dana posted this, but I wanted to give a shout out. Show for congratulations to the band Blood of Angels. The Metal Deli congratulated them on winning the category for their song Spillage. So, congrats to those guys. That's pretty cool.
And our friends at Spillage have a new album coming out next week. So,
Already, really?
yep, next week,
Wow.
next Friday, September 8th, Phase 4 comes out.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
This stuff's kind of just blew up on us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does creep up awfully fast.
Yeah, I can't believe we're in September. It's crazy.
I know. I was at work earlier today, and I was, like signing papers and everything, doing paperwork. I was like, Jesus Christ, it is September already. God Almighty.
Maybe quit writing 8 and writing 9 now. So
Yeah. Of course, I know Susie's happy because we're just that much closer to Halloween. So.
oh yeah, she's I'm surprised she ain't done loaded buggies up when we're going shopping on Halloween shit.
Oh, it'll happen.
Oh yeah, I already know what's going to happen. I think
Yeah,
I think
it'll
right
happen.
now she's just worried about vacation. After that, then I'll probably be bumped
Yeah.
up. So,
Yeah. First things first. Blood of Angels will be playing the Brass Mug in Tampa on the 27th of October. That's very cool.
yeah, cool. Seems like y'all got a friend in the brass mug people down there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't get much from the storms and stuff. So,
Oh, that's right. That hurricane that blew through this week.
um,
Yeah, I don't know.
hopefully everybody stays safe during that. So. Hey, it's Kobe's in here. So what's up, Kobe?
Hey, Kobe, what's happening, man?
We were just talking about the hometown show you guys are about the last hometown show of the year. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and Chris thought it was this weekend. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
it's at the Hollywood Hillbilly, if I do recall the name of the venue right off the top of my head.
Sounds like my kind of place.
The Hollywood Hillbilly, home of the cornbread metalhead. It does have a ring to it, doesn't
Yeah, it does.
it?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. So
Tomorrow night at the Hollywood Hillbilly in Rogersville, Tennessee.
anybody out in that area that's listening, be sure to make it out there to see those guys. He said it gets pretty wild in there. So. Like,
Yeah, be
like
looking.
like how wild we're talking. I was going to throw my underwear on stage last time I seen you guys, but
But you weren't wearing any, so.
yeah, so
I actually look forward to seeing some of the videos on TikTok from the show. So I won't be able to make it out that way, but I know you guys will post plenty of footage on Facebook and on TikTok. So I look forward to seeing some of that. So.
and then I'm going to see Upon a Burning Body and Born of Osiris on Sunday, so I'll have that to talk about. He said East Tennessee.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty wild. That'll definitely be pretty wild.
Why would you throw a bed shoot at him?
God damn! Shots fired, Dana.
Yeah. Damn, Dana, don't come on your show fucking with you. Shit.
That was funny. Damn.
Three can play that game.
Yeah, you did say that. That's very true. All right, man, we ready to get into the meat of this bitch?
Yeah, I guess so. Since I was incapacitated most of the weekend for other reasons, got garage door installed, so that kept me up all day Tuesday. So I've been trying to catch up since then, like with sleep and stuff. So it's been rough. Oh man, so I didn't get to post any of the birthdays or my album reviews on the Facebook page. So I'm gonna go through the last 2 weeks of birthdays just so make sure I hit everybody up. I don't want to leave anybody out. So
right. Yep. I got you.
I know you covered a few of them on the Metal Minute. So
yeah, just a little bit.
So, but I'll kick off here from August the 19th and through today, September 1st. August 19th, I had Ian Gillan, vocalist for Deep Purple, Steve Grimmett, vocalist for Reaper. Of course, we know he passed away last year, too. Then we have Joey Tist, vocalist for Europe, and his real name is Rolf Larson. Now we know why he calls himself Joey Tist. So.
Exactly.
Then August 20th, We had Robert Plant, vocalist for Led Zeppelin. Dimebag Darrell Abbott, guitarist for Terra. And of course, he passed away in 2004. And we had Fred Durst, vocalist for Limp Bizkit. August the 21st, we had Serge Tankian, vocalist for System of a Down. Jacob Pitts, guitarist for Black Veil Brides. And then Liam Howlett, keyboards and turntables for The Prodigy. August 22nd, we had Vernon Reed, guitarist for Color. Juan Crucier, Rat, bassist and songwriter for Rat. Lane Staley, singer and guitarist for Alice in Chains. And of course, 2002. And we had Ellen Hill, vocalist for Killanova. August 23rd, we had Aaron Jones. Of course, he's a singer and guitarist for his own stuff. Solo guy there. Pretty good stuff, too. So, August the 24th, we had John Bush, one of my favorites, vocalist for Armored Saint, 1982 to present. And of course, he did a stint with Anthrax from 92 to 05, and then again in 2010. Then we had Andreas Kisser, guitarist for Sepultura. Macy Fox, vocalist for Mr. Lugosi. Andy Adcock, guitarist for Precipice. Sam King, vocalist for Mind Virus. Then August 25th, we had Gene Simmons, guitarist for Kiss. Of course, I didn't know his real name was Kane Witz.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird name. August 25th, also we had Rob Halford, vocalist for Judas Priest, of course, and Fight and Halford, and many of his projects. So, we had, I think it's pretty unique voice. You can pick that out of a crowd, I think. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unless I think it's Ripper Owens.
True. And then Rob Halford to be like, nah, he doesn't even sing.
Then we had Maisie Rod, guitarist for Femme Fatale. Derek Shirinian, keyboardist for Dream Theater and Sons of Apollo. We had Spider One, vocalist for Pyroman 5000. And Vivian Campbell, guitarist for Def Leppard. August 27th, we had Henry Fleury, a guitarist for the Butcher Babies. August 28th, we had Jack Black, of course, vocalist for Tenacious D, among other things that Jack Black does.
Mm-hmm.
Also, August 28th, we had Jess Margera, drummer for CKY. Steve Whiteman, vocalist for Kicks. Thorin Milliken, bassist for Sidona, Doom Factor, and Ex Psycho Head. Although Dana, I think, posted something in that where he was hoping for a Psycho Head reunion. So maybe he'll get his wish some days. August 29th, we had Tony McAlpine, guitarist, keyboard, and piano for numerous bands. There was way too many to mention. So, but he does a lot of solo stuff. So very talented. August 29th, Vincent Cavanaugh, vocalist and guitarist for Anathema. Dave Collins, vocalist for Among the Wicked. August 30th, we had Mick Moody, guitarist for Whitesnake from 78 to 84. We had Jens Ludwig, German heavy metal guitarist for Edguy. I say that because in case the Jens is wrong. So. Make sure I put the German in there so somebody can correct me. Because we know that letter kind of goes two different ways depending on what part of the world you're from.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, on August 3rd, we had Dave Orderis Arungus Brocky. Of course, he was the vocalist and guitarist for Guar. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2014. August 31st, we had Rudolph Schenker, guitarist for Scorpions. David Chastain, guitarist for, of course, Chastain. Then we had Reb Beach, guitarist for Winger and Whitesnake. Gene Hoglan, drummer for Testament, Death Block, and Dark Angel. Of course, that dude's been that's a pretty trio of terror there for bands. Man. And then last but not least, September 1st, the only one I found so far for September 1st was Manny, and that is the guitarist for Godslave. So,
the only one I've got to add is Chris McEwen, the lead singer from Hidden Intent. He had a birthday in the past couple weeks too.
Okay. Thanks for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was forgetting somebody. Evidently, I didn't screenshot that. I usually screenshot all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Not a problem at all.
Happy birthday to those. And like I said, if anybody comes across for the first and I didn't get on, make sure I include it next week. So.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't think we had any personal birthdays either. Mm, I think so. Not,
No,
not, not this week. So
nope, sure didn't. All right, that'll take us
yeah,
into the.
we had a couple of members of the Facebook group that have birthdays.
Mhm.
Nothing like family wise.
Right, right, yeah. All right, so that's going to take us into this week's current event segment. So we're going to lead off this week with a story that I only saw a couple hours ago. So I mean, it's kind of breaking news a little bit. So this was one that I hadn't even sent Jason because we touch base on Friday nights with the stories that we're going to have for the week. So this one actually popped up. It popped up earlier today, but I didn't actually see it until earlier this evening. So this one's over at metalsucks.net. Though it has not been officially confirmed by the band or his family at this time, it has been reported that Sakabe Yokoyama, frontman for legendary Japanese metal punks Gizumu, has died. No other details are available at this time, but numerous artists have posted tributes to the singer, who proved to be influential to artists around the world and across generations. Gizumu formed in 1981, making them one of the early Japanese hardcore bands. They released their debut album Detestation in 1983 and second album MAN Military Affairs Neurotic in 87. They released their third and final album, Sonic Crime Therapy, nearly 15 years later before breaking up. In 2020, Relapse reissued the band's music for the first time, exposing them to a wider audience. Gizumu guitarist Randy Uchida died in 2001, and drummer Toru Monamor Hiroshima died last year. Metal Sucks extends our condolences to Sakevi's friends and family, and we do the same here at the Metalheads Unite podcast. So we find out some more details about that once it's been officially announced, whether it be by the band or the label or something like that. So we'll kind of update you guys whether it's we find out what the cause of death is and whatever and whatnot. But so yeah, unfortunately, we do have to lead off with a passing this week. We don't like doing that, but sometimes you got to do that.
Well, there was a lot of passings this week. As far as the wrestling world, and Bob Barker passed
Bob
away.
Barker died. Yep.
A lot of people passing away. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We touched a little bit about some of that stuff. All right, I guess I'll kick my first one off from Metal Hammer here. The owners of Lemmy Kilmister's favorite bar, the Los Angeles iconic rock and roll watering hole, the Rainbow Bar and Grill, are being sued by two women who alleged that they were negligent in maintaining a safe environment for their female patrons and intentionally created a dangerous, sexualized, and hostile environment for women customers. The two women, identified only as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, I think they were a tag team in wrestling with them, but are,
Yeah, they
um,
probably
are,
were.
are among a number of women who claim that they were assaulted by former porn actor Ron Jeremy, a regular patron of the West Hollywood bar. 70-year-old actor is currently in a state run mental health hospital in California after a judge ruled that he is not competent for trial and suffering from an incurable neurocognitive decline. That's not good. Jeremy's real name, Ronald Jeremy Hyatt, has been charged with 30 sexual assaults against 21 women. Two plaintiffs are now arguing that the Rainbow was complicit in facilitating Jeremy's assaults. According to the Rolling Stone, the plaintiffs claimed that Jeremy sexually assaulted them at the Rainbow on March 17, 2017, at a time when the venue's management was aware of multiple other sexual assaults by Jeremy on the property, but continued to facilitate and ratify his illegal behavior. They alleged that the porn star sexually assaulted them at the bar and then directed them through an employee only kitchen area before following them into a private bathroom where they were once assaulted again. In a statement, Rolling Stone, Nadine Kedry, one of the attorneys who filed the complaint, claims that the Rainbow Bar and Grill had long leaned into Jeremy's patronage as a gimmick to attract customers, arguing that the owners had fostered a playground in which he preyed on women, all while turning a blind eye. Michelle Navati, the second attorney representing the two women, adds this is clearly not an isolated incident, but a pattern of abuse that Rainbow Bar and Grill permitted at the expense of their patrons' safety. Rockin' Horse Incorporated, the owners of the bar, have not yet responded to the allegations in the lawsuit. So, I mean, it kind of veered away from the title of the story, of course, but I still wanted to mention this because if this happens to be a incident where this club winds up shutting down because of something like this, we're losing another iconic, place. We've lost a lot out in L.A. Ricky Ratman's talked about that a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
losing these iconic bars is pretty rough. I mean, they would have to use him though to. I mean, you could put up there that it was Lemmy's favorite hangout. I mean, that's just bringing a lot of people in. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't
Right.
have to. On Jimmy go weird. I mean,
Yeah,
he
you
could have.
figured. Yeah,
I
you
mean,
figured.
he could brush up against one of them from 12 foot away. So, I mean,
Hey, well, yeah, that's true.
uh, so, but anyway, like I said, hopefully it all gets. I don't know. That's kind of sad. I didn't know that he was in a neurocognitive decline. That's pretty horrible. So
Yeah.
you been thinking with the wrong hip for too many years, I guess.
Too many blows to the head.
Well, his brain swell.
Yeah. Well, in
Uh,
keeping in kind of keeping in kind of that same vein, no pun intended, as far as Ron Jeremy goes. Um, staying over at metalsucks.net, we reported on this. We reported on this not too long ago when the story first broke. So this is kind of a little bit of a follow up here. Investigations into the sexual misconduct allegations leveled against Rammstein frontman Till Lindemann earlier this year have been dropped by German prosecutors, despite complaints from multiple women regarding his backstage behavior. Deutsche Welle, I hope I pronounced that right, reports that a lack of evidence supporting those claims forced investigators to call off the case. According to the DW report, investigators said law enforcement hadn't received any official testimony from any of the women that made the initial claims against the Rammstein frontman, nor had they uncovered any proof that drugs were used to coerce women into having sex with him. As a result, Lindman's legal team issued a brief statement, quote, "The rapid termination of investigative proceedings by the Berlin State Prosecutor's Office show that there is insufficient evidence that our client allegedly committed sexual offenses," end quote. As you may recall, the legal proceedings against the Rammstein vocalist started after an Irish woman named Shelby Lynn went online to claim that she was drugged at the Rammstein show in Vilnius, Lithuania. According to her recollection of the event, she said she was introduced to Lindman, who served shots of tequila to Lynn and the other women present. She noted at the time that she's not sure if it happened then, but she believed her drink may have been spiked since she claimed she was a stumbling mess for the rest of the night. Her allegations also included a situation where she was brought to a side room to be with Lindemann, who allegedly expressed wanting to have sex with her during the show's intermission, but she refused, resulting in a reportedly angry Lindemann. She then said she somehow wound up at her hotel at the end of the night with bruises she didn't remember having prior to allegedly being drugged. Then a follow-up report in German news outlet Tagesschau outlined claims by other women where they shared details of their experiences with Lindemann, which seemed to corroborate what Lynn alleged. In some cases, allegations of straight-up rape and being offered drugs by Lindemann's people were among the allegations. Rammstein's camp denied the allegations, saying in a tweet that they could, quote, "rule out the possibility that what is being claimed took place in our environment," end quote. However, as more allegations came forth, the band remained steadfast in their support of Lindemann. Still, drummer Christoph Schneider issued a statement on his personal Instagram account that attempted to distance the band from Lindemann's backstage parties, even though he pointed out that the band's after parties were always above the board. Lindemann was also dropped by his publisher Kiepenheuer and Witsch as a result of everything going on. In addition to charges being dropped against Lindemann, prosecutors also called off their investigation into the allegations leveled against Elena Makeva, a former member of the band's quote-unquote inner circle that had been accused of personally handpicking the girls that would go backstage for Lindemann's alleged activities. So, so there you have it. I don't know if that necessarily means that Till Lindemann is free and clear here moving forward, but you know, not gonna try to kind of disparage the accusers here, but especially the one mentioned by name. But some of the stuff sounded a little circumstantial.
mm-hmm.
She got drunk and she woke up. She couldn't remember how she got back to her hotel room, and she had bruises she didn't have. Before the night started. I mean, she got hammered and fell. I mean, she could have, gotten bruises from that. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not trying to speculate or try to like speak anything into or out of existence or whatever. But
Well, I mean, if she thought something sexually happened, then she should have went to the hospital to get checked out. I didn't read it if that happened or not. So,
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So, like I say, I'm not trying to like victim blame or anything. I'm not trying to speculate on behalf of her or on the behalf of Till.
But the,
Just,
but the thing is, if you want substantial proof of this, then you have to go get checked out. I mean, they can pull the
mhm,
DNA stuff within a certain amount of time. Uh,
yeah,
so if you think that happened, then you probably need to go and get checked out. Make sure that
yeah,
they some DNA sample or something. So
yeah.
I mean,
Now, now,
because I mean, I think this way because if the piece of shit done it, then he deserves what he gets. You know,
oh, absolutely. I was just about to say that if if something comes to light.
but I'm not saying Till Lemon's a piece of shit. I'm just saying any piece of shit that does that.
Right, right,
You
right,
know,
right. Yeah, absolutely. Like, if, of course, in this specific case, I mean, if something does come to light somewhere down the road and it materializes that something concrete happened and they can prove it, then hey, then you got to face the music. I mean,
yeah.
but
You're
as
not a
of right,
you're
but
not above you're a politician. What's wrong with you, man?
hell no, no. But as of right now, I mean, hey, like I said, like the police said, they couldn't get anyone who was making any accusations to really come forward and offer any concrete evidence. I mean, without any proof, there's really nowhere that the case can go. So I mean, so who knows? I mean, obviously, if anything substantial, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse or anything. So if anything comes up that's anything substantial at all, we'll kind of fill you guys in. But we're not going to Marilyn Manson this thing to death or anything like that. So
Plus, the Irish woman didn't have much defense since they're giving liquor in their bottles at birth. So,
right,
uh,
right.
tequila, come on, man. That is an Irish person be like, man, 3 shots of tequila knocked you out. You weak.
Yeah.
I can say that because I have Irish heritage, and I can take a pretty good bit down myself if I want to, but I know my limits. So, so
Well, hey, you got to know when to say when, like on that commercial.
yeah, uh,
It does help, really. It does
it does.
help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helps your pocketbook. That's for damn sure. I remember sometimes.
Right.
There were some times at my bar, days going and paying a tab at the bar, and it was like $80. I'm like, what the fuck did I drink? uh, All right, my next one here is over from Metal Hammer Steel. The governor of Nevada says he wants ACDC to perform at next year's Super Bowl halftime show. Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada will host the 58th Super Bowl on Sunday, February 11th, 2024. And one of Nevada's political heavyweights wants Angus Young and company to rock the world during the traditional halftime extravaganza. Asked by the Las Vegas Review Journal who he wants to play the show, Governor Joe Lombardo said ACDC. I was going to yell it out, but hey, I'm serious. Hard rock and metal has historically been given comparatively little room to shine on the huge stage of the National Football League showcase game. Millions of people around the world tune in for the halftime show every year. Stars have had the honor. Earlier this year, Rihanna headlined the show, and rock fans got very excited about the fact that extreme guitarist Nuno Betancourt has some limelight. But Betancourt has been a member of Rihanna's live band for more than a decade. So another hard rock and metal link to the 2023 Super Bowl came when Ozzy Osbourne started in a TV commercial during the broadcast. An announcement on who will headline the 2024 is expected in the coming weeks. The NFL's executive vice president of club business, Peter O'Reilly, said, "We work year round and we are always thinking about talent across the Super Bowl because obviously having a fun show is a big component. But you've got other components of the week, pregame artists and the national anthem, America the Beautiful, lift every voice and sing. We're looking holistically at the music landscape." Um, well, obviously you're not because it's, I mean, they've been trying to get Metallica on there for what, 10 years? Something like that.
Probably longer than that.
Well, I mean, Metallica's pretty much said they don't need to be on there, which they don't.
Well,
It's,
they don't need to be on there. No, not, and I don't even think ACDC needs to be on there. But it would be nice if we could get a musical. Of course, that being said, I probably won't. I don't watch the fucking football halftime. I don't watch the halftime show during the Super Bowl anyway. But I mean, it would be nice to get a different musical, a different genre performing something musically at the halftime show. It's the same shit every damn year.
yeah, it's well, I think the thing is, I don't know if those artists get paid for that. I think that's one of the big things that the issue was is they don't get paid enough or get paid at all. I'm not sure. I think there was something about the pay I read last time. That's why. a lot of metal bands won't do it. Um, so I think Aerosmith was on there like years and years ago, but hell, I think that was even in the late '90s or some shit. So it's been a
Yeah, it
minute.
was it was but that's the thing is that even when Aerosmith was on there, it wasn't just Aerosmith performing, it was Aerosmith, NSYNC, and Britney Spears. The only
Yeah,
reason why I remember that is because Lewis Black made fun of the performance in one of his stand up specials talking about that shit. So even when Aerosmith was at the Super Bowl and rock and roll was half ass represented, it was represented in an ensemble cast. So they couldn't even let rock and roll have its own, have its own representation by itself.
right.
The last time they did allow rock and roll to even be part of the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like I said, maybe we'll get our representation at some point. So.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right,
Right now,
staying.
can you imagine? Like, I bet they break records if they ever have Metallica at the halftime show. I bet it breaks records.
It, if Metallica ever plays the halftime show at the Super Bowl, it may end up being one of the most watched halftime shows. I'd be willing to bet that.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely.
I think so. All right, staying over at Metal Sucks for one more. Portuguese black metal outfit Gaera are planning something truly special, quote unquote, for fans out in the Windy City near the end of September, and it's not just all about the unique burger they have in their name. On Thursday, September 28th, the band will be on hand to host a free event at the original Kuma's Corner in Chicago. While there's no real info about exactly what they'll be screening, the band says it will be something fans will immediately recognize as a unique experience. Quote, this is the death of quote unquote mirage and the moment we start to let go of our world just so another one can be born. This unique event will showcase everything Gaera, I hope I'm saying that band right, has ever stood for. Get ready to witness something truly special, crafted especially to each and every one of you who wishes to join us for an evening we shall never forget, end quote. Along with the screening that will start promptly at 7:30 p.m., the band will be on site for a meet and greet with the fans. And seeing as this is going to take place at Kuma's Corner, which gained notoriety for its blasphemous Ghost Burger and the Slayer Burger, Gaera's own special burger will also be unveiled during the event. Based on the insanely delectable Francesinha sandwich found in Portugal, the burger has a bed of fresh house-cut fries, Texas toast, an Angus beef patty, sausage, uncured ham, shredded Monterey Jack cheese, and a fried egg, all smothered in a decadent Francesinha sauce, end quote. I don't know about you, but that sounds and looks insanely delicious / deadly. The following day, the band will kick off their tour with Wolves in the Throne Room, Black Braid, and Hoax in St. Louis, Missouri. The full list of tour dates can be found below, and they're there if you want to look at them. And this is a tour that we already announced on our Hit the Road segment. So there you go. Our Kuma's Corner in Chicago for all of our fans up in Illinois.
Chicago will get a lot of love tonight. So
Yeah.
not to spoil anything later. This one over for Metal Sucks. A scary situation in Glasgow nearly resulted in some serious bodily harm to Obituary's merch guy as he just narrowly avoided being hit by a car as it crashed into the band's tour bus last night during their show. The band is currently on its UK and Ireland tour, which will run until September the 11th, in the ridiculously named town of Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah, Stoke-on-Trent. Sorry. Stoke-on-Trent. Uh, the band shared news of the accident on their official Facebook page, sharing that the merch guy was retrieving shirts from the bus cargo bay when the incident occurred. Car crashed into our bus last night at the garage in Glasgow. Our merch guy was inside the bay getting T-shirts and narrowly escaped. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Our bus driver, along with some local helping hands, worked through the night to repair it enough to make it to Newcastle for tonight's gig at University Students Union with pest control thrash because the show must go on. Great show last night, and we thank everyone who joined us for another sold out show. It was absolutely crushing. Cheers, and thank you again. Until next time. As you can see in the image, which I will show in just a second, there was some pretty gnarly damage done to the bus, but apparently the band was able to continue on to the next show regardless. There's no information as to whether the driver was drunk, distressed, distracted, or just really hated the T-shirt designs the merch guy was getting. I don't know. So, But let me share this quick. So yeah, so
Oof.
there's the damage that the car did there. So kind of peeled that
That's
back a little.
that's definitely not nothing.
Yeah, no, that's pretty hefty. So I'm not sure if he was like right in here, uh, or where he was. So they said he
I don't
was.
know.
They said the cargo base. That's definitely not in the back. That's usually the cargo bays are underneath.
Yeah, I'm not real sure
So it seems
because
like
you
that
can.
he was
Yeah,
probably
because
right in.
you.
There. So he barely got this. Looks like so.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. I shared that. I shared that on Metal and Test because I knew Dana's a big obituary fan, so I wanted to make sure
Mm-hmm.
he got to see that. So
Yeah, I'm glad they were able to get the bus fixed enough to where they were able to make it to the next show, and I'm glad their merch guy wasn't hurt. Of course, but so
it's that would be kind of a scary situation if you're
yeah. Well, I'm sure the I'm sure the merch guy in the bus was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
put a, put a new meaning to redneck stomp.
I'm telling you,
Uh, oh, yeah, Dana said he's known them for over 30 years. So that's pretty cool.
nice. Yeah, that's very cool. All right, going over to speaking. I mean, speaking of another weird one, we're going to go over to the PRP for a few. Emma Boster, vocalist for Portland, Oregon metalcore outfit Dying Wish, is currently recovering from surgery on her right arm. According to a post shared by Boster yesterday, August 27th, several tendons in her arm were severed in a freak accident involving an exploding shower door at a hotel she was staying at. Boster is expected to undertake what she describes as a long recovery for the injury. She also recently shared several shots of the aftermath of the incident. Meanwhile, Dying Wish have been ramping up their plans to hit the road soon in support of the November 3rd release date of their forthcoming new album, Symptoms of Survival. There isn't a picture of the shower door on the PRP, but I saw it on. I'm wanting to say it was Metal Injection. They also had a story of it, and she took a picture of the door,
Yeah.
and it's just nothing but just a big ass pile of glass in the shower where she was. And the funny thing is that's actually not the first time I've heard of that happening. My mom and dad, uh, the house, over there in the old neighborhood.
Mm,
I was actually, this has been years and years ago. It was when I was still living there, but I was on the computer at the house one day, just messing around on the internet, and all of a sudden I heard a big ass loud noise, and their shower door in the master bedroom just shattered at random. No one was in there. No one had taken a shower. I mean, no one had been in their bathroom like all day, and their glass door just at random just completely shattered into pieces. So it's
sweet.
not the first time I've heard of that happening.
So be
Just
careful with glass.
unfortunate, yeah, just unfortunately, unfortunately, Emma was in the shower when it happened to her. So,
Well, people make fun of us with shower curtains. Yeah. Now how do we sound now?
right,
Uh,
yeah,
all right. This one over at That'll Suck Still. Some of our readers may be too young to remember, but there once was a time when MTV played nothing but music videos almost nonstop. So from 120 minutes to Total Request Live to Headbangers Ball, music and the artists behind said music were front and center. But then something changed and MTV stopped becoming the land of music video and instead gave quarter to the likes of Sticky and reality shows. One person that's taken a particular note to this is Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash, who took to Instagram to not only mark the cable channel's 42nd birthday, but to also call it out for becoming less and less about music over time. Um, quote, we've just celebrated 42 years of MTV, but honestly, the MTV we grew up with died in the 90s. MTV
yep,
should have always been about music videos. They should have used MTV2 as the channel to air only shows. So if you wanted your shows, jump over to MTV2 because the MTV has only music videos. Hell, it's in the name, music television. End quote. That was from Guns N' Roses slash there. Guns N' Roses rose to prominence in part due to their music videos, especially with November Rain being one of the more instantly recognizable clips on the channel back in the 90s. I mean, the dude's not wrong. Sadly, corporate money talks, and that's why we have the MTV that exists today. I remember the very tail end of MTV's music video era, and it was glorious getting to wake up in the morning before school and jam out. It gave me a feeling of what was making the rounds at the time, and really helped pique my interest in the music as a whole. I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. So yeah, you're not. So we've talked about that a bunch of times that they kind of missed out on an opportunity there. So,
Mm-hmm.
how big would YouTube be if MTV was still doing that? It probably wouldn't be that big. I mean, they wouldn't be showing music videos probably.
Man, that's really hard to say. I still think YouTube would be just as massive as it is because
Yeah,
even if because
music.
even if because even if MTV was still around in the incarnation we remember it, where they had even like Yo MTV Raps, 120 minutes, and for us specifically, Headbangers Ball, even if MTV was still on and playing those shows, when the shows weren't playing, I still think people would still probably kind of go to YouTube to watch the particular videos that they wanted to watch in an on-demand fashion.
Mhm.
But still, I don't know. I still think MTV, if it wanted to be the MTV of old, I still think it could be. I still think it would be a viable network if they wanted to go back to the original format that they invented. Basically, they invented it. So and for me, MTV died when Headbangers Ball went off the air the second time after they canceled it when Jamie Josta was hosting it. So
Yeah.
that's when it died for me.
Well, I mean, it died the first time because Ricky Ratman was even talking about that at his show that I went to see, which I'm wearing the
Mm-hmm.
one foot in the gutter shirt, so got to bring that
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
it just I didn't do that on purpose because I didn't know we were going to talk about this. But
Right.
yeah, I just been wearing a shirt. But
Yeah.
anyway, so he said that he's like, I even told them, said, hey, are we not going to have a final show or nothing? Not no send off. And they're like, no, we're done. And he's like, I'll come and do it for free. And they said no. Like, he even volunteered to come and just to send it off because he thought he owed that to the fans to send it off.
Well,
You
fuck
know,
MTV. MTV owed it to him, for Christ's sake.
well, yeah, because without him, Headbangers Ball probably wouldn't have been as big as it was because nobody wanted to see downtown Julie Brown hosting Headbangers Ball. So, although she was great in her parts, but not for the headbanging community.
Right.
I mean, it's because you had to have somebody that knew a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about what was going on, underground bands and stuff. And Ricky had the club, so he knew all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just right place, right time for Ricky there. So
Yeah. But I mean, MTV did it to themselves. I mean, they hung themselves, shot themselves in the foot, whatever euphemism you want to use. They did it to themselves. So I mean, I don't feel sorry for them at all. I mean,
well,
hell, even
I'm surprised it's still a network. To be honest
I
with you.
am too. I am too, actually. But yeah, so I don't feel sorry for them. But I mean, even after like those shows went off the air, I mean, they still had TRL, and so I mean, that was not for like you and me, but that was still a popular show. But I mean, that was basically really the only way that people got to see music in a large chunk, because even when TRL was still around, it was still bookended by all these bullshit shows. So
Yeah,
you know, yeah, they nothing but self inflicted wounds as far as MTV is concerned. So yeah, I'm not gonna shed a tear for what they're going through right now. So what I do like is when Beavis and Butthead came back out, it was on Paramount Plus, and they didn't even have to deal with MTV's bullshit anymore. So even though it was an MTV production,
right.
but it was still on Paramount Plus, and it didn't have to worry about going to MTV as a network itself. So I didn't mind that at all. So
Hey, I got a little short one here. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out too while we're talking
okay.
about this. This one also from Metal Sucks. Next year, alternative metal is what they're calling Seven Dust. Our alternative metal outfit, Seven Dust, will be celebrating their 30th year as a band. It's a huge milestone for any group, and to get the party started a little early, they're releasing a special box set to celebrate more than half of their entire discography. The set titled Seven of Seven Dust will be available as either a 9 LP set on October 13th or as a 7 CD set on October 27th. Included in the set will be 2005's Next, 2007's Alpha, which is a two LPs, 2008's Chapter 7, Hope and Sorrow, which is two LPs, 2010's Cold Day Memory, 2013's Blackout Sun, and 2014's Time Traveler and Bonfires, and 2015's Kill the Flaw. The LP version will be available for $199.98, while the CD versions will be more than 50% cheaper at $69.98. Both versions are available for pre-order right now at this website, or you can go over to Metal Subs and get the link here.
This is actually not a bad price for either setup, as far as I'm concerned.
No, not really. I mean, it's if you got all those LPs for $200,
Mm-hmm.
you're,
And
you're
yeah, and not to backtrack a little bit, but Dana actually brings up a good point when that you just posted right there on the screen. Headbangers Ball with Jamie Josta is where he discovered Shadows Fall, Hate Breeding, Kill Switch Engage. And see, that's a funny thing is that's part of the reason why we kind of decided to do what we do here on the show. Now, obviously, we talk about Metallica, and we talk about the big bands. We talk about them. Machine Head, Pantera, Testament, Sabaton. The bands on the shirts behind me. But at the same time, we decided that because obviously everyone wants to know about the big bands. They want
yeah.
to know. That's
Well,
what, and that's where the current events segment comes in. But we decided that we kind of wanted to be the modern, for lack of a better place to go, the best we could to be like the modern day Headbangers Ball. Of course, we don't have obviously nearly the reach that Ricky and Jamie Josta did, but we wanted to help bands like Eyes of the Living get eyes and ears on them. That's what we did. That's what we decided we wanted to do, because the big name bands don't need our help, but the bands like Eyes of the Living and Halo Scars and After Earth and all the bands that we've had on the show, those bands have their niche, right? And Halo Scars, those bands have their niche where they are, like Johnson City, and up in the Northeast where Eyes of the Living, out there in Sweden and Finland and all these places, Spillage up in Illinois, all of these places where all of these bands are basically headquartered, they have their place there. But those are the bands that we've discovered, and we were like, more people need to know these bands, so that's what we want to do. And that kind of reinforces our point of view with Dana's point about Headbangers Ball. There's really no place that we know of besides us. I mean, I'm sure there might be other podcasts out there who kind of will push the up and coming bands, and if there are, that's good. There needs to be more of it, because we've said before that this isn't our job. So I mean, we can't help everybody that we think deserves the help. We wish we could. We'd love to.
I'd
So
love to
we
do I'd love to do 3 shows a week and
yeah,
interview.
metal
You know,
Yeah, Metal and Tats does too, and I know Victor at Rock and Heavy. He does what he can, especially with Victor and his sister who lives down in South America. Uh, Victor's sister Rosemary, she posts tons of live videos from the shows that she goes and sees down there in Peru. So we basically kind of have our own little network here with us and Dana and Victor. So I mean, we're trying to do what we can, but none of us have the reach that MTV did. So that's another kind of slap in the face to music fans, whether it's metal or not. Whether it's metal, because I mean, like I said, they had 120 minutes, which is kind of like alternative music, and then Yo MTV Raps had the up and coming hip hop acts. So it's kind of a middle finger to music in general. What MTV did, music television just got rid of the music, and it was bullshit. It was bullshit then, and it's bullshit now.
so I wonder, like, I need to go back and look. Was it when was like when did it just stop showing videos altogether? Do we know?
Man, no, I don't know. I would have to look.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
We'll look it up while you're going through the next.
All right. Speaking of which, staying over at the PRP.com, Michigan metalcore outfit We Came as Romans were recently the victim of a daring theft while on tour in Australia. The incident took place in Adelaide, where the band were in town to play the Lion Arts Factory last night, August 30th, per time zone. According to 7news.com.au, a thief broke into the band's hotel room, which was occupied by guitarist vocalist Joshua Moore at the time. He proceeded to grab several of Moore's belongings, including his passport, and barricaded himself in the room, locking out Moore in the process. After being cornered inside the room as Moore and company waited outside the door, the alleged thief then jumped from a 5-story window in an attempt to make his escape. The 37-year-old suspect survived the fall but was taken to the hospital to be treated for his injuries and presumably face charges for his actions. Per the below video report, the band themselves rushed to find the suspect on the phone with emergency services. In addition to being interviewed in the below news report, the band commented briefly on the incident on their social media, offering, quote, "Australia is giving us a wild time. Thankfully, we are okay," end quote. So yeah, thankfully everything's cool. No one was hurt except for the except for the would-be thief, and you get what you deserve sometimes. So yeah, he'll have a trip to the hospital before a trip to uh, a trip to Australian jail. So, and who knows what those are like? I have no idea. His ankles were probably in his ribs. Let's hope.
So I was just looking at something and I seen where Sophie Lloyd, which we know she's one of the up and coming female guitarists around. She's kind of the next Nita Strauss, I guess. But
Yeah.
she said that Dimebag was one of her biggest inspirations. So that's pretty cool that she's talking about that. It's pretty crazy. I didn't take her for it. Yeah, I was trying to find that.
You find anything yet?
I mean, I'm finding stuff, but it's not what I'm looking for. Of course,
Hmm.
it's always this big, you know, paragraph about something totally different.
Right. Well, let me go ahead and knock out my last story real quick while you're doing that, so we're not kind of sitting here with any dead air or anything like that. Staying over at the PRP for this last one, new core band Tala have announced that they have parted ways with their turntablist slash sampler slash keyboardist Elise Musin Rodriguez in the wake of allegations made against him. The group began officially working with Musin in 2020. In a new statement shared by the band late Friday, August 25th, they announced that they have cut ties with the musician. That statement reads as follows, quote, "We have just been informed about the allegations against Musin. We do not condone such behavior, and we are cutting ties with him effective immediately," end quote. The allegations in question stem from an anonymous party who, in various screen-capped chat logs, was shown to be 16 to 17 at the time of an apparently sexually oriented series of conversations with Musin. The alleged conversations saw Musin knowingly identify as being around 20 to 21 at the time. Allegations of sexual coercion and grooming were leveled against Musin based on these screen caps, which were compiled and posted by New Fury Media. Thus far, Musin does not appear to have publicly addressed the claims. So, I guess we'll see if and when he does, and kind of see his side of the story. But as far as his tenure in Tala, that is over. So,
Last thing I seen was in 2016. They still had like a 2 hour block from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. where they played videos, but that's the only thing I can find. So
3 a.m. to 5 a.m. God, don't hurt yourself.
yeah, right. Like nobody's, hardly anybody's up at time to watch music videos. And so kind of the downfall, of course, was Real World that kind of started that reality TVs. Was it 92? So yeah, kind of
Yeah.
kind of foot in the door at 92, and then kind of went downhill from there. So
Yeah. Hell, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's when like network TV allows swears.
I Now here's your 2 hour block of 2 live crew.
Jesus.
That's good because I only had one more story too. So,
Yep, that'll work.
so this one actually may get into a conversation over this because it's kind of it's uh, it's a little strange to me. But anyway, this last one is I think it was middle sucks as well. And yet another case of old white musician finding out after rattling off some ill-informed, at best, comments about the trans community and gender-affirming care. A cosmetics company is distancing itself from shock rocker Alice Cooper. Vampire Cosmetics took to their Instagram account over the weekend to announce that they were pulling the plug on a new line of product they were launching in collaboration with Cooper after the 75-year-old called the trans community a fad. In light of recent statements by Alice Cooper, we will no longer be doing a makeup collaboration. We stand with all members of the LGBTQIA plus uh, community. They add any more fucking letters, I'm just going to shoot myself. And believe everyone should have access to health care. All pre-order sales will be refunded. According to the company's website, the line of cosmetics was announced on August 14th, sorry, and would feature products that would exude Alice's style and feature guitar and amp-shaped makeup palettes, microphone-style lipsticks, and a major highlight for Alice Cooper and makeup fans to look forward to in a new version of Alice Cooper's iconic Whiplash mascara. The line even included a unisex product originally created to liberate your eyes. Pre-orders for the line had already started, but as they said in their announcement, the company is refunding customers. All of this came after Alice Cooper essentially said during an interview with Stereo Gum that people were coming out as trans as part of a trend. Um, so this is the actual quote from Alice.
Yeah, I was about to say, read the whole thing so we can get it completely in context. Because I read that story too.
Yeah. So the quote is, "I'm understanding that there are cases of transgender, but I'm afraid that it's also a fad, and I'm afraid there's a lot of people claiming to be this just because they want to be that, and I find it wrong when you got a 6-year-old kid who has no idea. He just wants to play, and you're confusing him, telling him, yeah, you're a boy, but you could be a girl if you wanted to be. I think that's so confusing to a kid. It's so even confusing to a teenager. You're still trying to find your identity, and yet here's this thing going on saying, yeah, but you can't be with anything you want. You can be a cat if you want to be. I mean, if you identify as a tree, and I'm going, come on, what are we in, a Kurt Vonnegut novel? It's so absurd that it's gone now to the point of absurdity. The whole woke thing, nobody can answer this question. Maybe you can. Who's making the rules? Is there a building somewhere in New York where people sit down every day and say, okay, we can't say mother now. We have to say birthing person. Get that out on the wire right now. Who is this person that's making these rules? I don't get it. I'm not being old school about it. I'm being logical about it. It's getting to the point now where it's laughable. If anybody was trying to make a point on this thing, they turned it into a huge comedy. I don't know one person that agrees with the woke thing. I don't know one person. Everybody I talk to says it isn't it stupid, and I'm going, well, I respect people. I respect people and who they are, but I'm not going to tell a 7-year-old boy go put a dress on because maybe you're a girl, and he's going, no, I'm not. I'm a boy. So I say let somebody at least become sexually aware of who they are before they start thinking about it, if they're a boy or a girl. A lot of times I look at it this way, the logical way. If you have these genitals, you're a boy. If you have those genitals, you're a girl. There's a difference between I'm a male and who's a female, or I'm a female and that's a male. And wanting to be a female, you were born a male. Okay, that's a fact. You have these things here. Now the difference is you want to be a female. Okay, that's something you can do later on if you want to, but you're not a male born female. Cooper joins the long list of Asian rockers who just don't know when to shut up about shit they don't understand. Cooper, the Who's, Pete Townsend, Kisses Paul Stanley, Ted Nugent, the list goes on and on. But we're going to keep hearing this shit until people open their eyes and realize that if you just mind your own business, everything will be okay. So,
Okay. First off, wasn't he answering a question?
yes. So,
All right. Okay. First of all, he was answering a question. Somebody asked him the question, and second of all, After reading all that, I want to know where the fuck he went wrong.
He said nothing wrong in the
No, that's
context.
what I'm wanting to say. Yeah, where the hell did he go wrong? Somebody answer me that question. Where did he go wrong?
Well, a lot of things get lost in this, and the thing that I took from this that got lost is you're taking a man out of your cosmetic approach to selling makeup.
Yeah.
to, and then you're making comments about him because he said something about transgender. Okay, uh, that's just fucking wild to me. Uh, it's, it's like and I've said this before. Is like we've come to the point to where your opinion's cool unless it disagrees with mine, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's and then you're not right anymore. That's not how this works. I mean, we're all different. We all have different feelings, different thoughts. Um, and honest to God, nobody's right and nobody's wrong. That's the whole great thing
Mm-hmm.
about the world. Is like you know we we spend too much time letting media tell us what we are and what we aren't, and they don't know shit because they don't know you. They don't
Right.
know you. Um, you know, and I agree with let somebody determine whether they want to be transgender or not when at their own pace. Don't start spoon feeding bullshit in their head at 5 and 6 years old. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because by the time they get to that point, they think that.
Yep.
And they're not being to me, they're being groomed, and so to speak. It's like we talk about that a lot with other things. They're
Yep.
being groomed.
Yep.
That's
They are.
different than being groomed for other things. They're being
Yeah.
groomed.
I
So
think so. I think
and
so.
I think it ought to be a law against that shit too.
I do
Just
too.
they're kids, man. Let them be kids. Let them go
Yep.
out, play whatever they want to do. And if they come to you and have questions about that, then you can sit down and talk to them about it. Until then, just let them go. Let them be who they want to
Mm-hmm.
be.
Yeah. They're gonna be confused about pretty much everything, and that's gonna be one of them. But
Yeah,
just because they have a moment of confusion doesn't mean you all of a sudden have to start dressing them as the opposite thing and start adding things or cutting things off, injecting them with this, injecting them with that. That shit's fucking child abuse right there, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, you're right. So, but that is the way of the world. So
It's ridiculous. So I don't I am uh I'm kind of in I'm on Alice's team in this one because like I say I don't think he said anything wrong. He answered a question somebody asked him, and I don't think his point of view is unreasonable. So I think so. What outlet was that from again?
I think that was Metal Sucks.
Okay, so and metal sucks. They're entitled to their own opinion. They are. It's their publication. But I think for them to not be objective and say that Alice Cooper is an aging rocker who needs to shut the fuck up and mind his own business is unfair and unprofessional.
Exactly. And honestly, if I was the uh, the main guy at this publication, whoever wrote that would be in my office. So,
Yeah. So
because
if you want to report on what Alice said and the cosmetic company's reaction, that's one thing. But for you to basically slander Alice Cooper, more or less, um, you know, I don't think it's
what
professional. I don't think it's right or professional to do that.
my thing is, why did you ask him the question? That's where I want to know. I want to know what brought the fucking question up
Yeah.
to ask that. I mean, I don't understand where it comes
Yeah.
from.
I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
I don't know, but it's I mean, I don't care one way or the other about the whole cosmetics thing. I thought it was kind of cool when it was announced because I mean, Ozzy did the same. Ozzy kind of had the same thing. He kind of had a cosmetic line come out. So I mean, Alice isn't gonna lose anything really, and I honestly don't think this is really gonna affect Alice that much because the people who are Alice Cooper's core fan base, which is basically people like you and I in our mid 40s and up,
Mhm.
we're not going to give a shit. We're not going to give a fuck at all. So Alice Cooper's not going to lose. I don't think Alice Cooper's going to lose any fans that he has, and he's 75 now. He doesn't really need any new fans, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean,
I mean,
I don't think this is really gonna.
it
This
was
isn't gonna.
it was pretty packed last time I seen him. So
Yeah, so I don't think that's. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna change anything for Alice as far as his concert attendance or anything like that. So, and then speaking of Alice, Dana in the chat did mention that Alice's radio show Nights with Alice is being canceled, but that doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have anything to do with the cosmetics thing because I was reading that story too, and it was just something that the parent network decided.
mhm.
So the radio show ending has nothing to do with the bullshit with the cosmetics company or anything that Alice Cooper said. It just kind of like a coincidental timing of the two things. So
So,
one has nothing to do with the other.
thing that came to me too is, but if we keep on hearing, people just need to mind their own business. That's kind of what it ended with, and I'm just like, okay, then why don't you mind your own business and not asking fucking questions, stupid
Mm-hmm.
questions.
Yeah.
Shit didn't have nothing to do with music. Like, why the fuck are you asking
No,
them shit?
it didn't.
This is what kills me about people with fucking with this fucking handle that they have. Like, oh, I work for Metal Sucks or I work for Loudwire. I ask what I want to. No, motherfucker, ask them about their goddamn music. I don't give a fuck who they voting for. I don't give a fuck what they what kind of toilet paper they wipe their ass with. I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to know what they're doing music wise. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
then when we try to stick to that, I know we get carried away sometimes with our interviews, but it would be most of the time it is the people we're interviewing that bring up different stuff. So we kind of go with it, just uh, but
Well,
yeah. And plus, it's cool to see how different parts of the world reacts to the same things that we see over here. So,
and what we do when we interview somebody, and we've said it before. We tell our guests is like, hey, we're just here, kind of hanging out. We're just kind of talking. So I mean, there's no format to our interviews, and we're trying to get to know not just the band. We're trying to know the people in the band too. We're trying to learn about the band and their music. We're trying to learn about the people. We're trying to learn about the people too. So even if the interview kind of devolves a little bit and we start talking about what they like to do in their spare time or whatever it is. Even if the interview doesn't end up going in a straight line, which it never does, but
well, no,
we're just getting to know new people, and that's professionally and personally. So a lot, these bands that we've interviewed, I mean, Colby was here from Halo Scars, just hanging out. So I mean, the
yeah.
people who we've had on the show, they're friends of ours now. We consider every band that's been on the show, we consider them friends now.
I'm in contact
So
with guys on a regular basis. So,
yeah, I mean, we
I
have
mean,
our we
at some point it may get to be such a list I may not be able to do.
yeah. So I mean,
So
so
right now I'm able to keep up with it.
yeah, so I mean, we have inside jokes with a lot of them. I mean, we have our what the fuck joke with Stellan and with Hext. So I mean, we have you know we have a friendship with these people now, and so
Kevin
we
from Devil,
try to. What's that?
Kevin from Devil, he knows everybody.
Okay,
So
yep. Yeah, he does. He knows everybody. So yeah, so there's always these little things that even with sitting down and talking with these guys, for 2.5 hours or 3 hours or 3.5 hours in some cases, just once. I mean, we've gotten to know these guys or girls in certain circumstances, and we
yeah.
consider them friends now. So you
I
know,
like this. I was trying to find this while we were talking about it, but there was a comment on the thing, and I think this probably pretty much sums it up. This person commented, said, "If a child's allowed to make those decisions, they should also be allowed to vote, buy alcohol, legal drugs, pick up their own prescriptions, etc." So that pretty much nails it, I think. So
yeah, yeah, and give a quick kind of impromptu Metalheads Unite welcome to my aunt out in Hawaii. She just joined the Metalheads Unite
see that on there. I was
the Metalheads
well,
Unite group. So
yeah, you was reading a story, and then I seen it on there, and I said, I was going to tell you, say, man, I don't know, man. It seems shady.
Maybe just a little, maybe a little.
So, you say she was out in Hawaii?
Yep, she's out in Hawaii.
She wasn't affected by none of the fire stuff, right?
No, she wasn't. She lives on the same island, but she lives yeah, she lives on Maui, but she lives far enough away where she wasn't directly affected by those fires. So yeah, my the day that all that stuff was happening, my mom actually texted me at work and let me know that the two of them had communicated and she was okay. So yeah, she's fine.
Oh, all right, Dana, you too, man. Appreciate you
Yeah,
stepping in.
Dana, take care, buddy. Have a good one, man.
While you're talking about that, I want to bring up something real quick. I know it ain't got nothing to do with rock and metal, but The Rock and Oprah Winfrey started a funding for the people over there, and they both stuck $10 million in that
Whoa.
of their own money. So
Wow.
yeah, and so people all of a sudden just started. They didn't even read the shit. They just started, oh well, what have you done? And I was like, dude, read the fucking shit. They put $10 million in there,
Mm-hmm.
and like people are giving them such hell about it, but the thing is, it's like The Rock lives over there. The Rock is pretty much part Hawaii. His mom was pretty much Samoan or Hawaiian, and then his dad was black, of course. So a lot of his family are from over there.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do something to help his community out because the government wasn't doing shit. So I mean, they'd rather send $10 billion to Ukraine than send $700 to families in fucking Maui. That shit what pissed me off. Like, dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
we got to start taking care of our own, man. This is just
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking unreal how much that common sense is not there with politicians. I don't get it. It's greed. I know what it is. I mean, they're over there. Well, we'll send you this, and they're probably laundering that shit and going to send 20 million back to him. So,
Probably.
I mean, it's
Probably.
just dirty money. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but still, I applaud The Rock and Oprah. I'm not a big
Hell
Oprah
yeah.
fan. I applaud them for doing something for the community there. They created a foundation, and it's going straight to those families. They don't see any of the profits or anything. And it's going to be
Good.
even what they have in there right now. They said each family could have $1,200 with what's in there right now. So not counting anything that's been donated since then. So I mean that's great. I mean that's a lot better than the 700 that the government, our government was going to give them.
Yeah.
So, still, but I ain't gonna get into that conversation because we already know how I feel about some things that they do with
Mm-hmm.
citizens,
Yeah.
especially our fucking veterans. That shit fucking burns me up. That's why I do so much. I do Wounded Warrior. I do a lot of stuff. I actually have a friend of mine that's in with the VA, does does some stuff nearby me, and I go by and talk to him a lot. And so I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just like he tells me some horror stories. I just can't believe my ears sometimes. It's like, dude, I gotta go, man. You're pissing me. You're just pissing me off telling me this shit. I
Mm-hmm.
love you, dude, but
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's not him. It's just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way that
Even yeah, my wife's even and the funny thing is my wife doesn't really have any like lingering, you know, health issues from her time in the Marine Corps. But I mean, even she has told me some horror stories about the VA, and it's just patently ridiculous. It's just insane.
I'm going to say this because I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to call by names, but employers need to take the mental health thing seriously, man. That shit is it just. I mean, it's pissing me off. I see this every day too, where people's like, well, "My job won't give me a leave because I'm like, dude, you just went through a mental breakdown and they won't give you a fucking leave." I mean, it's health reasons. You know, I just don't get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we've reported on it. We've reported on it in the current events segment many times about how band members are just like, look, I need to take a step back, and I need to get my stuff right, my head, whether it's my head right or my affairs right, my home, something. They'll be like, look, I got it. I have to take a step back, and I have to take care of me so I don't drag the rest of the band down. So I mean, it's good to hear that people are trying to start paying attention to that stuff and focusing on it before it
But
consumes them.
the
But
difference is though is like me or you, we work for somebody, so
right,
they're
yeah,
not willing to work with us. We just lose our fucking job. I mean,
right,
And it's not right because
Yeah.
we're going through something. We just need some time to get through it.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything to help you through it. Then that's a
Hmm.
whole different story.
Oh, it's completely different. But yeah.
You said you didn't have anything else, right?
No, I'm all done.
Okay. All right. So these are some other headlines. Did miss one. Let's
Oh, before we get into headlines, and I'm sure this is one that I'm sure will pop up. Did you see did you see the story about the dog that snuck into the Metallica concert?
had that. Yes.
Oh, I loved it. Just a picture of like this dog just sitting there in a seat at the stadium just watching Metallica play. I was like, that is the cutest fucking
Yeah.
thing. I loved it.
Actually, there's like three Metallica things in the at least three Metallica things in the other headlines, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, I know of one other one right off the top of my head.
So to kick off, a second Metallica song hit 1 billion plays on Spotify, which is
That's
nothing
that's the
that
one.
matters.
That's the
Uh,
one.
Congratulations for that.
Yep.
And joining Inner Sandman, who's currently creeping up on 1.2 billion. So
Mm-hmm.
that's unreal, dude. That's unfreaking real. What is that, like $2,500?
Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me do the math. Hold on. All right.
Uh,
So
better,
what is it?
better cut
Point
zero.
zero point 0.007
Yeah,
times
that was a billion.
1.2. Uh. Well, hang on a second. 1,200,000,000. Mm-hmm. 1 billion. That's 9 zeros.
Mhm.
So 7/100ths of a cent times 1.2 billion streams is $8,400,000.
Yeah, that's still though. That's I mean, of course, they haven't had to pay that out all at once. I'm sure they do that. They do their thing on a monthly basis. I'm sure, but
Well, I'm sure they do, but still, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to have $8 million. Who wouldn't? But when
yeah,
you consider, it's weird because I mean, it's only $8 million when you have a song that's been streamed that many times and you only made $8 million. Don't get me wrong. We know Metallica's made over $1 billion in their career. They don't need it, but it's still just a microcosm of a larger issue that I mean, Spotify. I love Spotify. I have a subscription,
yeah,
but
yeah,
so we both do. We have the playlists are there and everything. So I love Spotify. I genuinely do. But it just, I mean, 7/100ths of a cent per stream. I mean, come on, man.
yeah. Plus, you got sponsors and ads and stuff, and the people that actually purchase the stuff. There's a lot
Yeah.
that goes into that. So I'm not sure like what the hold up with actually paying bands what they should have. I don't know. Just put something on loop for 20. I'm gonna start just putting songs on loop for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I
We
say
should
like,
do that. Yeah, we should do that. Be like, all right, we're gonna. Oh, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
yeah. So second Metallica feat is they toppled Taylor Swift's SoFi Stadium attendance records. Stars came
Yes.
out. I actually seen Jason Momoa had a live video. He's like, "Oh my God, they're starting with Whiplash." And he jumps in the mosh pit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
uh, so
And hell, John Travolta hung out with Phil Anselmo and Charlie Benante after the John Five and Charlie Benante after the show.
oh,
So
that's crazy. Gate Creeper's third album is done. So Gate Creeper fans, there you go. Autopsy have a new album coming out titled Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts. That ought to be a pretty good cover art.
nice.
John Corabi doesn't know if Motley Crue uses backing vocals, but he says Mick Mars has never really been a bullshitter. So if Mick says they don't, they believe what he says. I guess. Steel Panther had to tone some things down for their last performance on America's Got Talent. They did get kicked off this week, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So.
I didn't expect them to make
No.
it far. No.
But I mean, they did good though. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Speaking of which, did you see because the other night when they got knocked off the show, they played Death to All But Metal, but they played an edited version that they
Oh
well not
yeah,
edited, a rewritten version. Did you see the lyrics of the rewritten version?
yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
my
funny.
god, it was horrible. It was so
Oh,
bad.
well, I mean, but you know, whatever. Yeah, you have to do what you got to do to.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Ex Morbid Angel frontman David Vincent's advice to up and coming vocalists says, "Think about what it is that you are." So there you go, some good advice.
Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black, considering he left Morbid Angel to be a country singer.
Well, maybe that's why he said, well, he was a country singer the whole time. Maybe he just
So it's kind of ironic.
uh, anyway. Dave Ellison says he did not ask Marty Friedman to play with Kings of Thrash because Marty had washed his hands of Megadeth. He said, "Me and Marty are in contact frequently, but neither one of us bring up Megadeth." So
I respect him for that.
yeah. So the thing is, like, we kept seeing those stories about, oh, well, he asked Marty Friedman to be in the Megadeth, blah 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 blah. And Dave's like, no, I didn't. It's like, quit fucking out there trying to, you know, clickbait people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
AEW wrestlers came out to Metallica's Seek and Destroy during All In at Wembley Stadium. Of course, that was, you know, what's his
Yeah,
name?
Sting
Darby.
and Darby Allen.
Yeah,
Sting and
Darby.
Darby Allen.
Yeah, of course, Sting came
And
back in the day with when he did the
yeah,
Black.
from 99 to 01 he came out to Seek and Destroy in WCW. The cool thing is that at All In, he and Darby Allen came out to Seek and Destroy, and Sting also came out in his Joker Sting face paint from TNA.
Yeah, kind of
That
crazy.
was cool too. And threw himself through a table at 64 years old.
Crazy.
Did a leg drop onto a table at so he did a bump through a table at 64.
Wow.
I
That's some Terry Funk shit right there.
yeah. Speaking of Terry Funk, rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace, Terry Funk.
I've been working toward this moment, says Tool's Maynard James Keenan, in opening a new ice cream parlor, a trattoria, and a winery and his own tram line. So, yeah, he's got his hand in everything.
He's a
Uh,
busy bee.
yeah. So this is Master of Puppies. A dog ran away from home, watched the Metallica show, and stayed for the whole thing.
That
So
was so cool.
that was pretty good. I seen that. I was like, wow. Uh, Disturbed presented with the key to the city at an Illinois tour stop. That's pretty cool.
That
And
is
then,
cool.
and then Mark Morton shares a PTSD trigger warning for Lamb of God shows. So it's kind of cool that he's
Yeah.
doing it so people don't
Yeah.
go out there and go nuts
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, and Disturbed. I can't remember where the venue was, but I know a couple weeks ago we talked about where their stage show set off the sprinklers at a venue. Well, it actually happened for a second time, like earlier this week. I think it happened. I think it happened again. So it's kind of funny that it happened again. So
All right, but that's all of the news headlines that I have there.
mhm.
Anything to add or not?
No, I just wanted to mention. I kind of figured we would get there, but I just wanted to make sure that we talked about that dog that snuck into the Metallica show.
It's pretty crazy. So going into hitting the road, I just have a couple of mine are actually stories, so I'll go through those real quick first.
Oh, ready?
So Danzig had to cancel their Houston show because the world is overheating.
I
though
saw
he's
that.
though he's still on track to perform tomorrow in Irving, Texas, and Saturday in San Antonio, Houston's show was largely canceled because the venue, White Oak Music Hall, is outdoors. With no realistic way to ensure fans and crew will remain cool during the show, Danzig's team said they had to make a decision to cancel the show entirely. To say it's been ungodly hot in Texas lately would be an understatement. According to Houston public media, the major city tied its hottest temperature record of 109 degrees. It was the third time the mark had been reached, with the first taking place September 2000 and the second taking place late 2011. Uh, 3 days later, they hit that mark again on August 27, 2023, and that isn't even accounting for the 23-day streak of 100 plus temperatures either. So wow, that's for triple digits for 23 days straight. Jesus Christ.
That's
The
that's nuts.
The world is on fire, y'all. The cancellation comes weeks after Danzig was forced to reschedule the August 25th show in Las Vegas and the August 26th show in Norco, California because of tour bus shortages. In that instant, those shows were moved to September 23rd and 24th, respectively, though the Norco show was also relocated to Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Danzig news there. I think that's great. So if you look at this, 2000, it was the hottest. 109 was the record. So 2000 and 2011 and then the 2000. So the good thing is we're waiting a year every time. So it went it went 11 years, then it went another 12 years, and then next year to be 13 years. So they won't have to worry about
Yeah,
it again. 2034 maybe. so,
that's right. Yeah.
uh, all right. So this one, of course, this one has a lot going on with it. So actually, it goes into a two story event here for Ghost. So Ghost fans, buckle down. So if you're down if you're down in Florida in the direct path of Hurricane Idalia, you likely have a lot more to worry about than just a pair of Ghost concerts. But if for some reason you still had that in your mind and that you'd make your way to Daly's Place in Jacksonville at the Mid Florida Credit Union Amphitheater for the show anyway, just stay home because both gigs have been canceled. The
Mm-hmm.
announcement through the band's official social media accounts, which released the following statement. Quote, Children of Florida, it is with heavy hearts we conclude that Hell hath no shock rock show that matches the fury of Miss Idalia. That is another way of saying that our shows in Jacksonville and Tampa are unfortunately canceled because of the storm. We're terribly sorry about this, and we wish for all of you to stay safe and take care of each other. We hope to see you again within not too long. According to the National Hurricane Center, Idalia had a maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour and had a path that would take it along the eastern seaboard. At those speeds, the National Weather Service warns that wind can cause an extreme threat to life and property and catastrophic damage expected to man-made and natural structures. So yeah, please be safe and either get the fuck out of there or hunker down. However you plan to deal with the storm, please stay safe. And then this one kind of goes into the same thing. Series of unfortunate circumstances, along with some major communication issues, caused a massive clusterfuck at Wednesday night's Ghost Show in Simpsonville, South Carolina, thanks to continued bad weather caused by Hurricane now Tropical Storm Idalia. And while rain outs and soaked fans are nothing new, Ghost is pointing the finger at event organizers and the venue itself for making fans wait for hours in the rain before the show's cancellation without any explanation. In a lengthy statement on Instagram, the band explained what happened on their end, which included a sudden outburst of torrential rain that ended up damaging important stage equipment, and how the venue's apparent unwillingness to explain why the show was being canceled created a disappointing situation for everyone in attendance. So, quote, children of South Carolina and beyond, first of all, wish to apologize for taking this long to respond to yesterday's prolonged cancellation, but we had to maneuver through a lot of bureaucratic bullshit. So we are upset as you are about the last night's event. In an effort to clear the air of confusion, here's what really happened yesterday. When our trucks and buses arrived yesterday morning, there were already a concern about the weather forecast as the stage was a very small roof and nothing covering the sides. Our main goal is for our fans to have a great experience. We were assured the weather would be fine later in the day, so we pressed ahead with all the show setup preparations. Unlike CCNB, most outdoor concert venues have a large roof over the stage to safeguard all the sound and lighting equipment from inclement weather, as well as a roof over the audience to protect our fans. Yesterday, we were all subject to no cover and the bad weather. It started raining heavily during the morning setup, and some pieces of our equipment had already started to malfunction. Luckily, we do have a very professional crew that somewhat repaired or swapped spare parts, etc., to make the show happen. We were ready to perform, completely dependent that the weather stay sunny and the rain would pass us by. When Amon Amarth hit the stage, a sudden torrential rain began, as well as thunder, and the entire stage was completely flooded. Amon Amarth could only get through a few songs of their show. Our crew covered as many pieces of equipment they could with tarp, especially the electronics and computers, and moved other electronics back into the truck to protect them from the rain. Excuse me. As the rain subsided, it was clear that many of the key components of our show presentation were totally operable. Mainly the sound and lighting control consoles, definitely a show stopping problem. All in all, it was impossible for us to perform, and we told the venue this. We insisted the venue promoter explained immediately to all of our fans that were patiently waiting to get back into the venue, but we were met with legalies. Is that right? Legalies? Okay. Yes, that's right. Uh, our continue our crew continued trying to get the system working again, but after a few hours, it was clear nothing would work. Today, we learned uh, that it would take 2 to 3 days at minimum for us to replace the electronic equipment to perform any show. Sadly, without any replacement equipment, we were unable to perform in Simpsonville tomorrow, which was Thursday. Refunds were issued automatically at the point of purchase. There is nothing further ticket holders need to do. We are heartbroken thinking about what all of you fans went through because of this. We are sincerely sorry for the inconvenience, disappointment, and irritation this has caused you all. We never intended to jerk you around and have you standing out in the ring without a clear understanding of what was going on. I apologize and hope that we have clarified yesterday's chain of events. Stay safe, a nameless ghoul. So, needless to say, that was an experience that those fans will probably never forget.
Mm-hmm.
And not a good one either.
Nope. Not at all.
So, but I mean, venues like that need to know that if you're outside and there's potential of a storm, then you got to be ready to call it. You know what I mean? You can't have people out there and risking their lives. I mean, we've seen a lot of instances where things go wrong and people lose their lives. The Great White Fire and stuff like that.
Yep.
That could have been easily caused by lightning as well.
Could have. Yep, could have. All right, so for hitting the road for the 26th through today's date, September 1st, leading off, as always, over at theprp.com, Catatonia has announced a fall North American tour with the openers to be decided, starting November 9th in Boston, Massachusetts at the Sinclair, finishing December 9th in Orlando, Florida at Level 13. Crypta has announced a 2024 U.S. headlining tour with the openers also to be determined, starting January 27th, 24 in San Juan, Puerto Rico at La Respuesta, finishing March 2nd in Seattle, Washington at El Corazon. They will be in Nashville on February 12th at Dark Matter. Suffocation, Incantation, Skeletal Remains, and Stabbing have announced a fall North American tour starting November 7th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Soundstage, finishing December 4th in Greensboro, North Carolina at Hangar 1819. Bad Wolves have dropped off the tour with Asking Alexandria, The Who, and 0936 due to quote-unquote unforeseen circumstances. There is no word on a replacement act for that tour. Sick of It All has announced a Australian tour for 2024, starting January 24th in Adelaide at the Lion Arts Factory. Hopefully nobody gets their a hotel room broken into during that show. Finishing February 3rd in Brisbane at the Soapbox. Glitterer and Hotline TNT have been named as the opening acts for Quicksand's 30th anniversary tour for the Slip album. Pain of Truth is going on a U.S. tour with a multitude of acts making appearances. Vomit Forth, Soulblind, Koyo, Life's Question, Torena, Dead Body, Momentum, and Ingrown will be appearing in various lineups at different dates across the tour, which will start November 2nd in Boston, Massachusetts at Sonia, and will finish December 15th in Berkeley, California at 924 Gilman Street. They will be in Nashville on November 10th at the end. Bastardane and Fury and Few are going on a quick fall tour starting October 5th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Drunken Unicorn, finishing October 14th in Savannah, Georgia at Southbound Brewing Company. Zeta and the Holy Ghost Tabernacle Choir are going on a fall tour starting October 19th in Savannah, Georgia at El Rocco, finishing in Gainesville, Florida at the Fest from October 27th through the 29th. Vended has announced some fall headlining shows starting October 3rd in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Intersection, finishing November 19th in Des Moines, Iowa at Woolies. Slaughter to Prevail is going on a North American tour this fall. No word yet on the openers or if there's going to be any. Starting November 2nd in Riverside, California at the Riverside Municipal Auditorium, finishing November 24th in Santa Ana, California at the Catalyst. The Who is going on a fall headlining tour with the support acts to be announced starting October 9th in San Francisco, California at the Warfield, finishing October 26th in Phoenix, Arizona at the Van Buren. Over to metalsucks.net, we have Coven, Lucifer, and Early Moods going out starting November 8th in Los Angeles, California at the Terragram Ballroom, finishing November 30th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Soundstage. And over at blabbermouth.net, we have UDO announced a fall North American tour starting November 3rd in Frenchtown, New Jersey at Artie's, finishing December 7th in Manchester, New Hampshire at Angel City. So that's hitting the road for the 26th through September 1st.
Oh, wow. It was kind of shorter than I thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah. Last couple weeks have been kind of light, but I figure we're probably going to wind down a little bit more towards the end of the year, and then when things ramp back up, we're going to be cranking out the 2024 tour announcements.
Yeah, which we've had a few announcements for 2024 already.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can go on over into our theme of the week, which we decided to go back into our record labels.
Yes, we did.
To Spine Farm this time, which was a little bit more trickier.
I was about to say you picked a little bit more of a difficult one this go around.
Yeah, because they don't have any alumni. So it's kind of
Not really.
I was like, So I just think the artist, I'm like, we could probably get 10. But yeah, I actually had to put one band on here twice. So other than that, I wound up getting a 10 out of it anyways.
I got 10. I did get 10.
So it'll be a little bit of a shorter of a list, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. You'll just have to check out some of the other playlists that we've put together and posted to Spotify.
Speaking
Oh, did we remind ourselves to post the playlist?
Yeah, I even shared it to the group, man. That's how up I've been this week, man. It's crazy. You know something else I didn't do?
What's that? Oh, the crawl. Yeah.
It's horrible today, dude. It's like, what the fuck? There is the playlist, the weekly playlist there. So if you want to get some new music on to listen to, there you go. And of course, as always, streaming down below there is the link to the radio station, the merch store. So some of the newer music has been. I started adding some of the new playlists onto the radio station. So I kind of at some point I want to try to figure out a time frame to do. I'm just trying to figure out how to set it up, how to do it. I'm still not figuring out. I'm still got to figure out what I'm wanting to do with this. I got I got a bunch of different shit going on. I'm just like, okay, well, what's going to work best? So it's just trying to figure that out. I think I'm going to put a poll on the page on the group and see what people think. They would probably more than likely listen to new music. Like what day and what hours.
Yeah.
So that may give me a little bit better go at what I want to do with that. So.
Yeah, it's at some point we do kind of want to have, because I mean the radio station streams, like we say, it streams all the time. It's playing right now. It always plays. We're always adding music to it. But it would be cool. It would be cool for us to get to a point where we actually do, because I mean we have this, but this is our talk show part of it. But we've always wanted to. We've always wanted to do an actual kind of headbangers ball, kind of here's music for us to listen to together kind of thing. So be cool to kind of get that in the works and kind of,
Yeah, I think I might like do that and just do a show kind of like we're doing now, but stream from the radio side of it to the live side here. So that way I'm not going to get any copyright deals that way.
Oh, see that? Yeah, that might work out.
We pay for the copyright deals from the radio station. So.
That may be one. That may be an option.
Yeah, it's just figuring a day and time out right now, man. It's like so much. Like I just really got so much going on right now. It's just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So work was not kind to me this week, and then I had a lot of the garage doors going on. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, life will get in the way for sure.
Man, it's just got away all kind of in a way this way. So I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna have to start doing it because I come in here a lot of times when I get off and I'm not going to the gym. I'll come in here and I'll start putting some songs onto the radio station. I told her, I said, when I'm doing that, I need to go ahead and at least do the birthdays for that day, so at least have that out of the way. Um, so that'd be a little bit of something to have out of the way before Thursday and Friday. So I'm not sitting around here 5 and 6 hours on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I try to I try to come in here into the office a couple for I try to do a little bit on a daily basis. Like if the just start the hit in the road list. The 3 or 4 tours that were announced that day, and then depending on when we decide on the theme of the week, I try to add a couple of songs to that. So I try to keep up with it you know at like a running list. That way, same thing, I'm not coming in here on Friday just trying to cram and do the whole thing. So, and then of course on Wednesday I post the Metalhead Minute to TikTok and Instagram and into Facebook. So I got to make sure I have all that ready. So
What? I was trying to figure out why that's running together. This separate.
what's the matter?
Huh. That is interesting. I was trying to figure out why. Like, because at the bottom, you'll look at it, it kind of runs together into the next line, but I got like a big old gap in the
Yeah,
actual.
I don't know why it does that.
I won't let me space it either, so I don't know if I'm at a limit or something. I
You
should be.
may be.
I mean, it shouldn't be because it's like it's a ticker. So I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible.
yeah, who knows? Anyway, get back into our theme of the week here for Spine Farm Records. Like I said, that is a little lesser known record cut label with some decent sized bands on it though, which is
Hmm.
so good for them. So I'm gonna kick it off here with 36 Crazy Fists. I kind of went in order for a minute, then I kind of jumped around afterwards. Some of the
Hmm.
bands I knew, I tried to get to them first, and then was going down the list and was like, oh, I know that band, I know that. So just figuring out the song, and then where kind of Spine Farm picked up the catalog.
Hmm.
So my first one was 36 Crazy Fists, Death Eater. That was from the Lanterns album in 2017. Then I went with Atreyu. I went with a newer song with them, Watch Me Burn, The Moment You Find Your Flame from this year's album. Actually, it's last week, right? I think it was just released last week.
Very, very recently.
Within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then I went with Bullet for My Valentine, Parasite. Then I went with Employee to Serve, Mark of the Grave, Conquering 2021. Then I went with He Is Legend, The Prowler from Endless Hallway 2022. Then I went with Saint Sonia the Hunted. That also features Sully Erna from Flawed. I'm sorry, from the album Flawed Design from 2015. Then I went with While She Sleeps, Systematic from Sleep Society 2021. Then I went with Drowning, End of Existence. That was from that same album, End of Existence in 2021. Then I went with Airborne, Running Wild, Back in the Game 2021. And then I went, last but not least, I went with Employed to Serve, Twist the Blade from Conquering 2021. So yeah, I had a double dip there, but that's
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, hell, I've done it plenty of times. I've done it a lot.
they,
But
they,
the good.
so they seem to have like a lot of bands that are more um, kind of 30 Seconds to Mars, I guess. Kind of like those bands.
Hmm.
I was listening to them, like, yeah, I mean that's rock, but it's not metal. So I mean,
Yeah.
Saint Sonia is not really a metal band. They have some hard songs, but they're not really considered a metal band. Just like we can say that about Nickelback. Nickelback has some hard songs, but they're not a metal band. So
Hmm. Yeah. They kind of like dip their toe in every now and then. They're like,
you said a lot of those bands like that too have ballads and stuff still though. So it's kind of like, yeah.
well, yeah, yeah. Well, the good thing is we're all 20 songs are going to make it onto the playlist. So that's good. That is good. My 10 songs for Spine Farm Records. My first one is Shatter by Bullet for My Valentine off of their self-titled album for 21. Then I went with Still I Rise from Shadows Fall off of Retribution from 2009. Then I went with if you What's
Shadow
that?
Style? Shadow Style was on there?
That one album.
I'll be damned.
Yep, the one album. Yep.
So you went to
Actually,
Psycho.
actually, actually, I think it was. Actually, I think it was two albums. To be completely honest with you, I think it was Retribution and then the one after that from 2012.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised too when I saw it.
But,
And then
so if I knew that, I would have threw a Shadow Style song in there.
yeah, well, I mean, we still can after the fact. So
Yeah, well, that's true.
yeah, and then I went with "If You Want Peace, Prepare for War" by Children of Bodom from "Are You Dead Yet" from 2005. Then I went with "Digital World" from Amaranthe off of Massive Addictive from 2014. I had "Cross the Line" by Dynasty off of Renatus from 2014. Then I had "Trails" by Profane Omen off of Reset from 2014. Then I had "Set You Free" by Black Label Society off of Doom Crew Incorporated from 2021. Then I had "Straight Out of Hell" from Helloween off of the album of the same name from 2013. Then I had "Forever One" by Cobra and the Lotus off their self-titled album from 2012. Then I went with "Wish I Had an Angel" from Nightwish off of Once from 2004. That was released in Japan, so I kind of I kind of loopholed them there on that one. So,
Cool. All right.
but yep, that is the list.
All right.
Get it compiled and posted as soon as we can.
Yeah. It shouldn't take long.
It won't take long. No.
Yeah. We'll have to get back into I got some other stuff, so until we figure out another lengthy record label, we'll have to get back into some of these other topics, I guess.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I guess we will get switch gears into our album reviews.
Yes, sir.
So this one's going to be a good one. My album review this week, I went with the band Repentance. The album is The Process of Human Demise. Um, Repentance are from Chicago, Illinois. I told you Chicago's going to get a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
They are from Chicago, Illinois. They were formed in 2018. They are a melodic groove metalcore band, and probably will not argue with that labeling of this band. So, the current members are Sean Glass on guitars, Eric Carroll on bass, Brandon White on drums, Eric Burns on guitars, and Adam Gilly on vocals. Sean Glass is the only original member of this band. Looks like so everybody else kind of came on in 2021. So like he just kind of like got rid of everybody and said, you know what, start over. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's kind of what it looks like. So to give you a little bit on Sean, he was in a few different bands. He was in Soil. He was in Broken Hope. He was in The Bloodline, Terminal Death, Syndrome, Dirge Within. So he's been in a few bands. So this is kind of breaking out into his own stuff, I guess. I'm not sure if he was founders of any of those other bands or not. So, but this one is his. So he just wanted one to call his own.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the band's second full-length album, 12 tracks, 43 minutes, 2 seconds. I'm sorry, 2 seconds. Another one of these albums that gave me a Lamb of God vibe, maybe even some old school In Flames in there.
Nice.
But yeah, the guitars really, man, the guitar work was phenomenal, dude. I've listened to this shit 3 times today, just today.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just like, man, I just can't get over it. I'm just like, dude, because when I first listened to it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it this. And I said, you know what? I need to listen to it again. I don't want to jump the gun. So I want to listen to it again. So I listened to it again, and I said, dude, it gets better every time I fucking listen to it. So, so yeah, so it's definitely the guitars just rip through the speakers at you. Man. It's so freaking good. And then the drums, it's one of those like, hey man, these guys 2 feet drumming. It's like, golly, it's like it's off
Yeah.
the wall, dude. Like, I was like, man, they got Thomas Haight Jr. in this motherfucker. uh, but just amazing work all around. I think the vocals were so good. The album altogether is, to me, is a masterpiece. I really don't know how they're going to top this. This is how good this album is.
Nice.
I have not heard the first one, so I, but I don't know how they'll if they make it once a third one. I mean, they're going to have to like, step it up because I mean this was phenomenal. Um, One thing though, I will say, next to the last song was a 2 minute 4 second instrumental. Not knocking the instrumental, it was great. Just kind of an odd placement, I think. Just next to the
Hmm.
last, it's like that's kind of interesting. They placed that there. Maybe we'll find out. We'll reach out and find out.
There you go.
So all you can do is say no, right?
That's
Um,
right.
so other than that, I think it was great. Like I said, we still had 11 other songs on there, so that's a plus. So I'm gonna give this one 4.5 points.
4.5. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right. My album review for this week is Bloodthorn and their new album, Cosmic Passengers. A little bit of local flavor here. Didn't know this. They are a stoner metal band formed in Bristol, Tennessee in 2019. They are a three-piece consisting of Zach Fry on bass, Milby Schaefer on drums, and Greg Glessing on vocals and guitars. This is their second full-length album. Their debut album, Let the Bad Times Roll, came out in 2021. This new album consists of 7 tracks and is 44 minutes and 49 seconds long. So, uh, songs are a little long on the average track length. Um,
Stoner rock, man. They're a little bit lengthy.
yeah, and man, I I can't really do stoner the stoner rock. I've done a couple other albums in the genre this year, and it just doesn't do anything for me, man. It's so slow, and
It's like one pace.
it is. I mean that it it hooks on to a tempo which is usually really really ridiculously slow, and it just doesn't there's no tempo changes. I mean, hell, along with the lack of tempo changes, there really wasn't a whole lot of rhythm changes from one song to the next, which is really isn't good when the tempo is so slow. um, and considering there was only 7 tracks, track 5 and track 6 were basically nothing but instrumentals, so just that didn't really help much, considering the tempo was so slow. When you have basically 15 minutes worth of just instrumentals at such a slow pace, I'm just like, oh my god, would you please? And I think the last track, if I remember right, was about 8.5 to 9 minutes, and like the last minute and a half, they finally decided to kind of kick it into gear. I was like, well, that's a little bit too little, too late, as far as I'm concerned. Greg Glessing, I mean, he's got a great voice, and there were some moments where there were a few heavy guitar riffs in there, but by and large, stoner metal just doesn't really do much for me. I was kind of bored at some parts, and I hate to admit that, but I mean, it's just, hey, if I'm giving an honest review, I got to give an honest review. I just kind of got bored with it at some points. So yeah, so this one's going to get 2 horns out of 5 from me. So
Okay.
it happens sometimes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it happens sometimes. So, but any of you stoner metal fans out there, give it a listen. Might be right up your alley. So
well, I mean that's the point. If you listen to it stoned, it sounds different.
that's the thing. I've never been stoned, so I mean, I have no fucking idea. It may maybe I was literally listening to it all wrong. So
Yeah, yeah.
might have been.
All right. So what we got to look forward to next week?
Yep. This coming Friday, September 8th, leading off with Alameda with Alma, that is an EP. Antipod with Evale, AOR with Bewitched in LA, Art of Shock with Shine Black Light Out. We have Azagal with Mustama, that is a re-release. We have Biocancer with Revengeance, Blackbird Angels with Soul Sorte, Black Pestilence with Chaotic Wisdom, Broken Pillars with Of Pillars and Primordial Myth, CLT DRP, Nothing Clever, Just Feelings, Conquer Divide with Slow Burn, Core of Io with Part 1 Io EP, Cryptopsy with Asgamora Burns, Damnation Plan with The New Horizon, Dandelion with Fatum, Dark Reflection with Everlasting Night, Death Shroud with Parhelion, Demons My Friends with Demons Seem to Gather, Domcraft with Sonic Moons, Dying Fetus with Make Them Beg for Death, Ego Kills with a self-titled album, Ethereal Tomb with When the Rivers Dry, Evil Lawn with A Warrior's Way, Excarnated Entity with Mass Grave Horizon, Finster Forced with Yensites, probably. Fire Down Below with Low Desert Surf Club, Fixation with More Subtle Than Death, The Flower Kings with Look at You Now, Fossilization with Leprous Daylight, The Glorious Sons with Glory, Gory Blister with Reborn from Hatred, Greed Culture with The Death of Us, that's an EP, Gross Reality with Return to Ruin, Hail Conjurer and Absolute Key with Trident and Vision, that's a split album, Hats Off Gentlemen, It's Adequate with The Light of Ancient Mistakes, The Haunt with Dead on Arrival, that's an EP, Head Cleaner with The Extreme Sound of, Himes with Stranger in a Wasteland, Iblis with Bintang Fayar, Ice Giant with Ghost of Humanity, Iron Flame with Compendium, Jaded Truth with Bitter, that's an EP, Caveller Talk with Ending, Medicine Horse with a self-titled album, Morta with La España Negra, Mustang with Beyond Raging Thunder, Nasty with Heartbreak Criminals, sorry. We have Oomph with Richter und Henker, Overman with It's All Over Man, it's funny. Pain of Truth with Not Through Blood, Phantom Bay with Underground, that's an EP, Pixie Ninja with Hypnagogia, Pomegranate Tiger with All Input is Error, Quicksilver Knight with Petichka? I don't know. That's an EP. We have Satsuriku Robot with No Thrash Metal, No Life. I kind of agree with that. Shunyata with The Dark Age. Oh my god. Silon Viholinen with Helvetin Kone? I have no idea. Jesus Christ, I'd like to buy a vowel, Pat. Skull and God, that's got me all disheveled now. Skull and Crossbones with Sun Gazer, Sleep Maps with Reclaim Chaos, Sada Misery with Mazaroth, Southern Empire with Another World, Our Friends Win Spillage with Phase 4, Spider Bite with The Taste of Filth, that's an EP, Starman with Starmanized, Street Fighter with Secondhand Hero, Silosis with A Sign of Things to Come, Terminalist with The Crisis as Condition, Thus with Pacify the Parasite, Tired Minds with The Body is a Burden. That's true sometimes. That's an EP. We have Triskelion with Artificial Insanity, Uada with Crepuscule Natura. We have Val Raven with The Awakening, Vega with Battle Lines, Wax Mechanics with God damn it, man. Psychota Mimetic, that's an EP. We Are Sovereign with Step Out of Your Comfort Zone. Stepping out of my comfort zone is trying to announce some of these bands and album titles. And then We Do Not Belong Here was Strange to Cope in Today's World. Jesus, some of those are a mile long, man. That's ridiculous. But that's the new release calendar for this coming Friday, September 8th.
I just want to say, hopefully you guys get better luck with that Head Cleaner album, because I got their debut album and it didn't have shit on it.
I was thinking the same thing. I've seen that meme. Worst band ever. I've seen.
I played that shit. It didn't, like, nothing came out.
Didn't do anything. As soon as I read it, that's exactly what I thought of.
You say that, and I was just like, "Yeah, that's it, man. That's freaking." Oh, that's too delayed. Ladderman, too late.
Yeah, it's like they were just humoring us, is all it was. They were just humoring us.
Oh man, all right, gang. Well, I guess that will put a bow on another episode. So,
Yeah, yeah.
getting out to the nitty gritty, man, with the albums. We got what last 4 months. October is going to be a huge freaking month, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm
I
looking
am.
forward to it.
I mean, I don't know if you've heard both of In This Moment's songs yet, but like if it's any indication that this album's definitely gonna be better than the last one. So
I haven't heard God Mode yet.
it's pretty good. It's
Uh,
definitely more Black Widow-y type in this
okay.
moment.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't remember the name of the first single right off the top of my head, but
I think it was the
it
Purge.
yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. The Purge. I remember listening to the Purge, and it was better,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still a little too.
In this moment.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't like in this moment, as far as I was concerned. So I was still a little kind of like cautiously optimistic, but I guess if it's heading in the right direction, of course.
Like I said, so far, but you know how I did last time is they had the singles came out. I bought the album and like listen to the rest of it. I go, okay, what the fuck is the rest of this shit?
Yeah,
so hopefully it's not.
yeah. So I'm optimistic, but yeah, I am looking forward to that one, and of course the one that I'm looking forward to, I think the most is probably Angelus Apatrita's Aftermath album. So, but
I
yeah,
can't.
October as a whole is going to be really good.
I can't remember who. There was another couple of big bands that announced.
Well,
Cavalier.
let's let's look
I
real
think it was
quick, shall we?
Cavalier Conspiracies October. Uh,
Let's
yeah,
see.
that's a big month, man. So,
Yeah, let's see. I'm just going through real quick and see. Iron Savior's got a new album coming out. That's kind of cool. Let's see what else we got. Of
yeah.
Mice and Men,
Oh,
Prong. Let's see. What else do we have? Amor. I was gonna say Amorphous, but that's a live album. Let's see. What else do we got? We have. Hang on. Nuclear Assault. No, it's a re-release. Never mind. Seven Dust.
I
That's a
hate
box
those.
set. Never mind. Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah, you just talked about that one. Let's see. Angelus Apatrita on the 20th. What else do we have? Go Ahead and Die.
right. Yeah,
That's what Lynch Mob.
I knew it was one of
Uh,
Cavalier's bands.
right. Yeah,
Right.
it's hard to keep them all together.
Yeah.
Let's
I remember
see.
posting a video and Andy was like, "Man, that's kind of old Sepultura sounding there." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, yeah. Let's
He,
see. Within
he
within
knew that. I
temptation.
didn't know if he did or not, but I was just like, well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, he did. Let's
yeah.
see. Within Temptation, Dokken, Doro, Grave Dagger. I thought it said Grave Digger. It's Grave Dagger. In this moment, uh, let's see. Let's see. Yes, I mean there's gonna be quite a bit of Wargasm. So yeah, Wayfarer. They got so yeah. There's gonna be quite a bit of stuff coming out from what you would consider like name bands, but for
Right.
sure. But yeah, so there's gonna be definitely gonna be a lot of stuff to listen to in October. So no
Looking
shortage of good stuff coming out. I'm sure.
forward to it.
Me too.
I mean, if there's any indication, like the last couple of weeks, this week wasn't as heavy with some quality stuff, but the last
Hmm.
couple of weeks have been pretty heavy with some quality music. Like there's like so much I can't even get around to listening to it all. I want to, but
Yeah.
man,
Well, I mean, hell, just this week alone. I mean, we listened. Obviously, we each had our album review, but I mean, Firewind had an album come out today. Primal Fear's new album came out today,
yeah.
and Stitched Up Heart, their new album came out today.
I actually listened to that one. That one was, yeah, I mean, it was okay. I mean,
Yeah. So
so so a lot of those bands have gotten to where they're not doing as much as the scream metalcore type vocals with their stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of understand. I mean, you don't want to do that shit for your whole life. I get it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's about four decent songs on there
Yeah.
and I mean, she's got an amazing voice. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the other stuff was a little bit slower, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
slow. So I mean, not saying it was a horrible album. I mean,
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, I think I'm only like 3 songs into the new Primal Fear. I haven't gotten far yet, so I'm gonna finish. I'm definitely gonna finish that.
I seen that too. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. I've listened to this. I've listened to the singles, of course, that have come out. So I'm in the process of listening to that. I may check out that new Firewind, and then I'm definitely gonna check out the Repentance album. I'm definitely gonna check that out during the week too. So
Uh, but yeah, so like the all that stuff came out was kind of a surprise because we didn't have a list to go by last week. We didn't announce anything. We had the guests, so
yeah.
everyone printed it out. I'm like, oh shit, Primal Fear's on here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I knew I had been putting like some of their singles on the playlist, so I
Mm-hmm.
figured it was just a matter of time. So
Yeah, the last single that came out ahead of the release today, I think it came out actually earlier this week or the very very tail end of last week was for their cancel culture song.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that was there was a lyric video that came out for that. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Cool.
so it's
That's
pretty
another
good.
one. Get back into putting videos on the
Yeah, I admittedly have kind of fallen behind on that, but
I did too. I fell behind on everything this week. And I apologize because this has so much going on. Jesus.
yeah, I had a busy week at work this week too. We were down 2 people like every day this week, so I was kind of scrambling and all that stuff. So it
There's,
it
I've
do
heard,
be like that sometimes.
I talked to a nurse at one of my doctor's offices, and she was saying, I asked her if she was seeing anything, and she said, "Yeah, we've seen a couple of COVID cases, but luckily it's not as bad on people as the last two were. So that's good news. So it's
That is good
kind of
news.
not as a heavy strain as before. So hopefully it's not going to take everybody out like it did last time. And they
Yeah.
already talking about shutting shit down again. I'm like, motherfuckers better not do this shit.
Yeah, no, they better not, man. They better
We are.
not.
I mean, that's why everything's so damn high now because they shut everything down and paid all this stuff out to keep people at home and make sure they kept their houses and all this shit. And now they're charging everybody to went back to work. People don't realize that. So you're paying it back now. That's
Hmm.
your rates are high. That's why your interest rates are through the fucking roof for housing. I mean, that's why all this stuff's happening, man. Because they gotta get their money back.
Yeah, no such thing as a free lunch.
No, no, ain't no damn. Somebody's paying for it somewhere.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
anyway, you guys want to check out the interview again with Marcus Redstep from After Earth from last week. Like I said, you can check that out on YouTube. You can go to Spotify as well.
Yep.
Check that out. Very, very cool dude, man. Very laid
Yeah.
back. Loved it. So
Yeah.
it was an easy 2 hour talk, man. It's like,
It really was. It really was. It went by. It went by quick.
yeah.
It went by
I kind of
fast.
felt bad for him because it was like 5 in the morning over there. So,
Yeah, but he was raring and ready to go though, man. I mean, he wasn't like, oh man, I just got out of bed or nothing like that. I mean, he was he was
he's,
ready from the start, so it was very cool.
he
But
said his name and he popped up there like a fucking genie. Like, I'm like,
sure as hell
damn,
did.
cool.
Sure as hell
So yeah,
did. But
pretty cool band. You can check them out on
mhm.
Spotify and all the streaming platforms. Their new album was it Prometheus, right?
The Rarity of Reason was the new one.
Rarity of Reason. That's right. Prometheus
Yep.
was the single. Gotcha.
Yep. Prometheus is in their catalog though, if you want to check that one out too. So there you go.
Great,
Yep.
great song.
Yep. But yep, check out the interview on YouTube, check it out on Spotify, check out all of our playlists on Spotify, check us out on Instagram and TikTok, and follow us on Rumble. Uh, Go ahead and visit the merch store at metalheadsuniteusa.com. Metalheadsuniteusa at gmail.com is our email address. And as Jason alluded to earlier in the show, stream.trulyradio247.com/8006 is our 24/7 live radio station. It is streaming right now.
Make
So
sure you're typing that in though, you put /8006/stream at the end because it won't go to anywhere if you don't. So I figured that out the
Mhm.
wrong way earlier. So
Yeah.
I
So
was like,
so yeah.
oh, missing a stream at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can also go over to our Facebook page and join the group there, and it's there's a link at the top of the page. You can just click it and be right there at the
Mm-hmm.
radio.
Yep.
Easy, easy.
Join. Yep. Go by. The Facebook page is public, but
Right.
the Facebook group is private. So you can send us a member request for the group because we do. There is more content in the group than on the page because the page basically it's just Jason and I adding content. But if you join the group, everybody in the group kind of adds content as they see fit. We do have quite a few bands that are members of the group, and they will upload some of their own content. They'll promote their shows and stuff like that. So like I say, you can always come by the Facebook page. Like you can check out the Metalhead Minute on the page because I post to both places. The page is public, the group is private. The group is more involved, and there's more content over there. So,
Yep. Don't forget to check out our friends too at Metal and Tats and Rockin' Heavy. They're
that's
also
right.
on all the socials, and then also check out one of my good friends, Aaron Camaro, and his partner Chris Sinzak on Decibel Geek on Friday nights.
Damn right.
Right before our show, so you can get your old '80s and '90s fix, and then get the review and new up and coming fix. So you can get all the metal from the '80s and '90s to today
Yeah.
in a 4-hour block.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. We pretty much have the last 40 to 45 years of rock and heavy metal covered between the two shows.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that we were right after them until the other day. I was like, oh shit, right after you guys.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah. So I told Aaron, I said, you better start pushing those motherfuckers.
Yeah, no shit, man.
There's a love.
Yeah. Yeah, at least drop our name a little bit every now and then. So
I think he does.
yeah, we're not Will Smith. You don't have to keep our name out of your mouth. So I mean, that's fine.
He usually drops my birthdays and stuff like that on there. So
yeah, there you go. Yes, that's fine.
Anyway, we'll
yeah,
wrap this bad boy up.
Yep, that'll take care of it.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And then, like I said, check us out on all our socials and follow us on. If you go to YouTube, please subscribe. So that's where we need that. That's where we need the subscriptions. I was trying to do some.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to do some other stuff the other day, and it said that with Amazon, and it said, "Oh, well, you got to have so many subscribers." So I'm trying to get into to get this posted onto Amazon, but you have to have so many YouTube subscribers to do that. So but I was trying to find a new outlet, and it didn't. We'll get there at some point.
Yeah, help us out. Help us out.
Yeah, get us on Amazon. So,
yeah, help us out.
I don't mind getting 2 paychecks from them. Just saying.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, hope you guys have a great week. See us right back here next week, next Friday night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So far, we will have the normal content. Unless something pops up with a band, we will let you know. Mm-hmm. And the only way to know that is through our socials. So
that's right.
Not on our socials, then you probably won't know.
Yep.
But you can be surprised. If you like surprises, just show up.
That is true. That's true.
So, anyway, hope you guys have a great week. And until we see you again, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, guys. And hey, everybody in the United States and Canada, have a happy Labor Day.
That's right.